Hey guys, Flawless Exotic Creations here. Will, Audra.
Hi.
Coming to you guys with a different type of video today. Today we're going to talk about the dreaded, or I guess great to some people, jean Pastel. So, Pastel. Now, we're not here to bash the jean itself.
No, you just don't like it.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'll explain why. And it's more, I guess, relative to, it's more personal for us than the jean itself. And that's because overall, it's not going to be a favorite jean in every single project. And I think any jean out there, people are going to have pros and cons for it. There are going to be people that like it and people that don't.
Well, everybody has their preference. It's like, I don't care for DG.
Right. Now, if it was like a market and it's like 90-10, 90% of everyone working with the jeans love DG, and Audra is part of the 10%, and that's fine. I think the spectrum's a little different, but even if you use that same 90-10 rule, it's going to be 90%, generally speaking, it's not going to be favorable toward Pastel, and 10% are. Does that mean we're not going to work with it? No, that's not going to mean that we're not going to work with it, but
we're just going to put it into things very specifically that aren't necessarily like just based off of that we know it interacts with them in the ways that we don't want it to interact in. It's like we were talking about, we wouldn't put pastel if we can help it. We don't want to put pastel in our males,
right? Which we've had to do.
We have,
but that's not a move that we wanted to do.
We don't willingly do that. That's
but we do that with a plan in mind, and maybe we'll go into that in another video. But she hit the nail right on the head. We would deal with it. Our general rule is we'll deal with it in a female, but particularly in our males, we'll try to stay clear of it. I think everyone in general needs. We did a video on breeder identity and where do you identify as far as, and we got pretty good feedback. Larger breeders and smaller breeders. As far as numbers, not as far as reach, but as far as numbers. We're not running a facility where we have 1,000 snakes, 1,000 breeders, or even 500 breeders at the moment, and we're trying to structure things around the program we're willing and wanting to build. So we was talking about it with Darren at Sloan Morse as well, because he saw a lot of insight of what I was saying, and that man keeps everything.
Honey, he is like a single jean pastel keeper.
Yeah, he's sold a lot of it since then, a lot of spiders and things.
Because we gave him such a hard time.
We give him a hard time.
Especially this one right here.
We have to.
I have to be like, look, you stop bullying that man.
Oh, stop it. It's nothing but positivity.
Yes, we love him.
He'll even put it out there. We're getting him out
Alicia.
there to do more content, more videos. But as far as Pastel, it's like, all right, well, if you're going to at some point cap your entire collection, let's say 200 snakes, that's a large collection for the average person. But when you're looking at it as a legitimate business, a standalone independent business, that would be, in our opinion, a smaller
collection. Yeah.
Now, when you have that ceiling over your head as 200, 210, 190, whatever your exact numbers are, you have to be very specific with your breedings and your purchases and your collection as a whole. So that references and brings back into play Pastel. So when you're working with Pastel in a smaller collection, if it's in your male and you're putting your male to 3, 4, or 5 females, whatever is on that male's breeding schedule, then basically you're saying on your male side, you're already, by the odds, gonna have half of the babies, let's say from 5 females, half of the babies are going to continue to carry Pastel, which is going to make things twice as hard for you. And you say, why is it twice as hard? Because now the first hard part is, now out of the babies, you need to be breeding for yourself first. We're breeding for ourselves first, so we need to be able to say, hey, we were doing this breeding because of X, Y, and Z in hopes of producing X, Y, and Z. Now here it is, and we're keeping it. Oh man, they got Pastel. Okay, now you have to determine whether that one that's your keeper, was it the female that you were trying to keep? Was it the male? If the female was the one you were trying to keep and it carries Pastel, it sucks, but you can still keep her, because only half of her babies, will carry, Pastel. But if you're going to keep that male, then you're back in that same boat. And as a smaller breeder, comparatively with the numbers, that's not going to be a smart decision as far as in our business plan.
Economically,
it's not. Yeah. And the reason I say you have to identify with one or the other, you have to identify with a group that represents you, is because the greats out there, the Bobs, Babu, Bob's Balls,
the
Ozzy's, the Canovas, all those guys, always evolving. They have
Billy.
Mutate. Oh man, this facility is huge.
A bunch of them.
Billy with Mutation Creations.
Will Banks.
Yeah, Will Banks, and definitely he has a huge walk-in, 2 or 3 huge walk-in incubators. But the reason I say that is because they can then, have specific genes they want to work with, and let's say have 10 males in a certain project. And does it really matter if 2 or 3 or 4 of those males carry Pastel for them?
No,
not necessarily.
Because they can have a whole separate column with males that just are exactly like that, sans the Pastel gene.
Right, exactly. So if you have, for reference, if you have, 10, let's say males, since that's so important, but 10 males and 3 of them in that larger scheme of things are, Pastel combos of certain genes. Well, you still got 7 that don't carry it, and you have God knows how many females you're putting those to. Mm-hmm. But when you scale down now to the same breeder that's only able to get, if they're lucky, 2 different versions of the same gene in those programs. So you're scaled down from that person that has thousands of breeders to now you're down here with your 200, your 190 breeders, and in that specific program you can only have 1 or 2 males. Now you need to make some really, really smart decisions on what you're purchasing.
You need to be more discerning about what you're allowing to progress through those breedings.
So in those cases, like we said, we would hold back important females that carry Pastel. Yes. We would try to stay clear of males that carry the Pastel gene, but that's the mindset behind it. I think a lot of people, they'll hold back those males and just say, hey, they'll buy a new one, or they'll hatch out, or they'll bank on, I'm gonna hatch out this male without the Pastel and then I'm gonna keep it. And that's fine to do that as well, but guess what? Well, while in the process of breeding that male to your 3 females and you have 15 babies, and you finally hatch out that male without the Pastel, and you end up with 10 babies with Pastel in that entire process. So,
is it going to pay off for you?
You have to think about those when you're dealing with the genes, and the gene doesn't have to be necessarily Pastel.
It could be any gene that you just really want to steer clear of.
Yeah. So you want to be mindful. That's how we're approaching it. On a smaller scale, and you always want to reference the size. We cannot do it, just doesn't fundamentally make sense, economically make sense for us to breed with the same breeding plans and business plans as a Canova or a Billy or any of those guys, because we're in a different lane. We're in our own lane.
And I'm good with our lane.
Oh, I'm great with our lane. But you have to identify that you're in that lane.
Yes.
You know that HOV lane that's on the highway with the diamond marker where you ain't supposed to be in it unless you got carpool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I definitely use that one.
So you want to stay out of that lane or you will get a fat ticket.
He said, ooh, I think we needed a pass for that lane.
Yeah, she was just driving along in it.
Zoom, zoom.
Hopefully you guys can relate to this type of content. Definitely subscribe and like this video. Comment down below if you agree or disagree, and why. We can definitely have a conversation.
I'd love to hear other people's off-limit genes. They just don't want to deal with.
Oh yeah, because I know it's spider. One of them is spider.
But that's more of there's problems, that exist in that, But just ones that are, you've got this this program and you just don't like it for some reason, or it's just not appealing to you, like maybe not.
And that's weird too. Maybe that's another video we need to do. Comment down below if you want us to do a video on that, because
everybody thinks I'm blasphemous for not liking DG.
Yeah, you are. But no, as far as spider gene and the wobble, but it's very interesting. That's not the only gene with the wobble.
No,
it's like it's a whole complex. Spot nose, which is awesome. Everyone loves it. A hidden gene warmer. Nice. Look, you on it. Hidden gene warmer. It's quite a few of them that actually have champagne that has that wobble gene, but it's not kind of treated like spider. And actually, it's funny. We've stayed away from a lot of spider combos. I've seen some calico spiders. I've seen some
there's
insane spider. Oh my goodness!
You remember some of the ones?
Yeah.
That one? Oh my gosh, I would have bought it just to have it in my house as a centerpiece.
We've seen some insane spider combos, but we stay away from it for the time being. Not saying that we wouldn't get one and legitimately keep it as a pet, but we're still in the business building stage, and we choose not to allocate funds for fun. At this moment, we need to be smart with it. But
I think the only thing that we have spider in at all, and we're steering clear with every bit of any type of pairing that could further that at all, is the monsoon. Yeah.
So there you have it, guys. Definitely comment down below. Flawless Exotic Creations. Will, Audra, we are out.
Bye.